Namaste, and welcome to this little explanation about Ujjayi breathing. So, Ujjayi breath, you've probably heard it. If you've ever taken any yoga class, you must have heard about Ujjayi breath. So, this is the breath that we use in most asana practices. So, in most physical yoga classes, this is the breath that we use while we move from pose to pose. So, I'll break down the breath a little bit and explain you also why we use this breath. So Ujjayi is actually translated as victorious breath. So it's a very powerful kind of warrior kind of breath that gives us strength and stability. Often you hear the translation maybe that it's ocean breath. So ocean breath is coming from the sound, because the sound that we make when we make this breath or when we use this type of breathing is kind of similar to the waves of the ocean. So this breath, the way we practice it, is that we breathe in and out through the nostrils and keeping the mouth closed at all times. So we breathe in and out both through the nostrils, and at the same time we make a slight constriction in the back of the throat. So basically what happens then is that you hear that ocean-like sound, and that constriction in the back of the throat, it feels quite similar to when we fog up a mirror or a sunglasses. So imagine you have a mirror here and you want to draw a funny face. You do this sound. So it's basically making that sound, but then with the mouth closed. You see, you can still hear it. So try that for a moment and see that when you close your mouth, you can still make that same sound and still that same feeling in the back of the throat. Now we're going to try to make that sound on both inhale and exhale. So just try it for yourself for a few times. See if you can get it with really the inhale and the exhale. So see if you can hear it. Often for many of us, with one it comes easier than with the other. So often with the exhale it's quite visible and the sound is quite hard, and with the inhale it's not. Well, that will come with time, so don't worry about that. So why we use this breath, there's a few reasons. One of them is actually very simple. It's the reason that we can hear our own breath, meaning we hear the feedback of if we're really listening to our body in the practice. Meaning, if we are putting ourselves into postures which are actually not right for us, which are maybe a little bit too advanced, the breath stops. So the sound actually stops, meaning the breath gives you feedback in saying, hey, you might be pushing yourself a little bit too much today. So when the breath stops and when you don't hear that sound anymore, it means that you should slightly back off, actually honoring the physical limitations of your body at that given moment. Yeah, so the breath is basically that feedback that it gives to if we really fully adapt the practice to our capacity. Another thing is that the breath really helps us with balancing out in and exhalation. So with balancing out inhale and exhale, we're balancing out these different sides in our body, masculine and feminine, receptivity and strength, above to below, left and right. We're basically balancing out both sides and coming into more harmony and more grounded and centered space. So these are some of the reasons why we use Ujjayi, and hopefully this little explanation clarified a bit how you can practice it and how you can use it in your asana practice from now. Namaste.